Welcome everyone to an inspiring journey. I'm your host, Mrs. Trouble, and I'm here with a special guest. During my experience of being a licensed firearm instructor, I have encountered some of the most amazing women. And today, my special guest is someone that's balancing the work field of being an attorney, pageantry, travel, and a special skill of finance. And she's going to show us how she does it all, as well as shoot these amazing firearms that I have back here. So stay tuned for an interesting story of Shoot the Shh. Today, we have an epic guest who has traveled the globe and captured the crown of Miss Full Figure USA Plus 2022. She is a powerhouse advocate working through Zeta Phi Beta sorority and court system to make a real impact. From inspiring full-figured women with That Girls Travel To, Standards Planner, and shining through the Philly Fashion Week.
Yes.
It was really awesome. She's unstoppable. So join me in welcoming Miss Natalie Robinson. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. It is an honor to have you here. You do so many things. You inspire me every day.
Aww.
I'm really looking at like your social media platforms on Instagram, and I'm like, wow, she's really out here doing this thing.
I'm trying.
You're doing it. You're not even trying. You're doing it.
Thank you.
So it's really capturing to know that there's one person that can do this, that, and still be here just happy, and you look relaxed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're tired. You've been running around, but you don't look like it.
I think I'm empowered by the women around me, right? I'm empowered by the people around me. Sometimes I'm tired, but mainly I'm motivated, right? I'm doing things that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy. And so I think that keeps me energized.
Well, that's really good. It definitely shows. Anytime that I've met you or seen you around, you're always smiling. You have a good spirit. You're just like really helping always. So I love that about you. It's a really good energy you have.
Thank you. I pride myself, and I always say that, I pride myself in wearing a smile every day. If nothing else, put my smile on.
Yes. It shows. It definitely shows. You're excellent at doing that, and it definitely inspires me to do the same, regardless of what I'm doing. Just smile.
Yes, just smile.
So let's see. Where do we start? I think maybe we should just start at the beginning.
Okay.
Because you have quite a bit of a resume here of things that you're doing. So let's start from the beginning of, I know that originally you're from Panama.
Yep, I'm Panamanian.
So when did you come over to the States?
I've been pretty much in the United States almost my whole life. My dad was in the military, and we went to Germany actually first.
Okay.
And then we went to Texas and then California, and I relocated to the DMV.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Definitely a world-round person here. You are already traveling.
A traveler, right? From birth.
Okay. So, and then you went to, skip the grade school part, but you went.
So, I'm a Zeta, which was founded at Howard, but I actually became a Zeta in California.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So I went to UC Riverside in California, and honestly, originally I was supposed to go to Spelman. Right, so I was supposed to go to Spelman. Literally, I got accepted to Spelman. Went to Georgia, and was there for like not even a week. And then I found out that UC Riverside had given me a scholarship.
Oh.
And so I packed it up and went back home because why not, right? And so something that was very important to me was making sure that I became entrenched and associated with women that look like me, women that look like me, right? And so I made it a purpose to be involved in like African student programs and things of that nature. And while I was doing that, I met the Zetas, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
This I'm going to have you to do rapid fire. So you can go ahead and check to make sure there's no ammunition. Right. And go ahead and load it up. So shoot as fast as you can.
Okay. Fast as I can. Okay.
Woo!
too.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay.
I really believe it was a matter of you not overthinking it. So
In my life.
That's awesome. That's really good. It's one thing when you do something and you're just like into it, but then it's another thing when you meet somebody and you make a connection and it's like, okay, this was a match made in heaven. Like, I'm comfortable here.
I'm telling, like, my sorority sister, I mean, I love my organization, but the women, like the chapter that I came through, which is Epsilon Sigma at UC Riverside, and we call ourselves the exceptional Epsilon Sigma because we are. These are like my lifelong friends. Like, I don't know if I would be like half the woman I am today if I wouldn't have met these women.
That's awesome. Yes. Great having a good support team. And you need that as busy as you are.
Definitely.
It's going to keep you with your head on straight when those days is just like,
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, what's happening here?
So what was there a defining moment that said to you, okay, I think attorney, and even more so, I want to be an immigration attorney?
So I wanted to be an attorney since I was 8 years old.
Okay.
Right? So since I was 8 years old, I wanted to be an attorney. My grandpa asked me, like, what do you want to be? And I was like, I want to be a lawyer. And everybody's like, yeah, that's kind of fitting. You talk a lot. You want to be in everybody's business. I'm like, not really, but I was a very curious kid, right? Mm-hmm. I liked problem solving, right? And understanding, just to understand. Like, I'm really into, like, I ask a lot of questions because I truly like to understand things, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've wanted to be an attorney since I was 8, and I just never changed my mind. Every year, just the passion to want to do it got deeper and deeper and deeper. And so when I graduated undergrad, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to law school. I went straight to law school, and now there I kind of questioned my decision. I said, oh, are you sure? Like, what were you thinking? And it was so crazy because I'll never forget my first year at law school. I'm there, and one of the professors goes, look to your left, look to your right. I'm like, okay. He's like, only one of you guys will be here next year. I was like, whoa, sir, that's very negative.
Right. Pick it up and check to make sure you have no ammunition in there. Great.
No, there's nothing in there.
Great. Keep it in your hand. And I want you to do dry fire with it. I want you to go ahead and put your hand in that position. It's a little smaller, so it may feel a little bit more awkward. Yeah. And then just squeeze the trigger slowly. Take a look at those sights too. Right. Okay. Finger off the trigger. I want you to do that one more time. Okay. Right. And I want you to do it nice and slow this time. So inch, 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 inch with that squeeze of the trigger. Good. That was a whole lot better control. Okay. So remember, when you're shooting this particular pistol and any pistol, you really want to feel that trigger and make sure you know how it feels. You'll feel that break. Okay. So that's what you're really waiting to feel. Okay. And then when that break happens, after that is when the boom comes. Okay. So it's important for you to know that in advance, because you don't have to worry about anticipating when a gun's going to go off, because you're going to know more closely to the exact second. Okay. Yes. If you see all that time it took to pull it back, right? You got a lot of time with this particular firearm.
Right. Thank you, but no thank you. I don't like that negative energy you're spewing onto us right now, right? Because I'm always like, everything is great.
Yes.
And he's like, no, nothing is great. Look to your left, look to your left, look to your right. Only one of you guys is going to be here. You decide who it is. Let's get started. And I'm like, oh no. Like, wait, and I was just like, I have to make it. Yes. I have to make it. And so I had to make it. And just immigration, you know, my family immigrated here. We immigrated here, right? And it was just something that I was really drawn to. Mm-hmm. It actually wasn't, I always knew I wanted to do some form of immigration, but it wasn't the first type of law that I practiced, right? But it's definitely where my heart is. And every time I do cases and get more into it, I'm like, I just feel like I'm making such a difference. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm making such a difference. And so to me, being a lawyer, I always wanted to make a difference, but I see that day to day when I'm working with my clients. It's like, honestly, a lot of times their whole family is depending on the decisions, you know, your advocacy. So
right.
It inspires me daily.
Well, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, definitely people work every day, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a blessing to get up and do something that you actually genuinely enjoy.
I do. And I think, you know, the U.S. is, I feel like, a country of immigrants, right? I mean, since inception, right? Since inception, right?
Yes.
And so I always tell people I feel like I'm fused by immigration, like, right? Like I am, of course, Afro descendant, right? You know what I mean? My people at some point were brought to this side of the world, right? And then in Panama, of course, my people immigrated here to the U.S., right? So I feel like that I'm fighting for my history, right? Right? I'm fighting for my history. I'm fighting for my ancestors. I always tell them, like, I feel like I'm their like wildest dreams, right?
Yes.
Like for me to advocate for us and to be able to do so in the court system, to me, is amazing. It's an honor.
That's great. Yeah. So being in the court system daily like that, oh my gosh, I can only imagine how draining it is to do like the research that goes behind each case and making sure you can point out the facts. And how many times would you say, is it more often than not that they're trying to like derail you from helping people?
So it's interesting. So right now, I practice more affirmative immigration, but up until almost a year ago, I was doing all removal defense. So I was only in the courtroom, and it was mainly doing cancellation of removal, people that were in deportation proceedings, right? And they needed a form of relief in order to be able to stay in this country, right? And I mean, asylum law, cancellation, when somebody's in deportation, it's almost like the odds are already stacked against you. You know what I mean? And so it's people that were born and raised in the United States, when you walk into a courtroom, you hear so much legalese and you're like, I don't even know how to advocate for myself because I don't understand what people are saying, right? Like, I don't know what's going on. We're speaking a whole other language, right? Wow. And so to me, I feel like everybody needs some form of advocacy, and that's in all aspects of the law and all aspects of the legal system, right? The legal system is complicated, right?
Yes.
And it's hard to navigate. I mean, sometimes for attorneys, what more? Like, we're literally two attorneys that are both probably educated in the United States, both adequate and have experience, are debating law that we both have read, right? So what more somebody who hasn't gone to law school, doesn't really understand the law, immigrated to this country, right?
Yes.
So it is. Yeah.
You don't even have to have immigrated to this country to not understand the law.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I got 5 rounds here, so go ahead and get yourself comfortable. Okay. And remember, with this one's gonna have the boom, so we got to make sure we really push forward, push out with those arms. Okay. Yep.
All right.
All right. Now you're ready.
Okay. I don't need to cock it back because it doesn't.
You do need to. Yes.
You need to pull it back?
Because you didn't put one inside the chamber yet.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Get this thumb up here because we want this hand into the gun. There we go. There you go. That looks a lot more comfortable.
This is. Woo!
Push forward.
Has a lot of drawback.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Feel that trigger. Squeeze slowly.
Woo! Wait a minute. This one is powerful. Okay. This is more. Is this the same type as that bigger one that we normally shoot?
It is. It's just that it's a smaller one, so it does have a little bit more recoil.
Okay.
As far as what you can feel.
Yeah.
Yes, but the caliber, the power is the same.
I was like, this is the most powerful one I've shot yet. Wait a minute. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's the thing about concealed carry guns. They're a little smaller.
Yeah.
In the sense that, it's great for you to be able to conceal, but you got to find a balance.
Okay.
Find a balance of what's going to be comfortable to shoot versus
what you can conceal.
Exactly.
The first one that we shot, that was the 22, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that one is less powerful.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm like on the 22 side. This is a 9.
Yes.
Always need an advocate. I don't anytime you walk into that courtroom, whether it's criminal, whether it's civil, no, you need an advocate. You need somebody that understands, right?
Yes.
Because if not, then there's no justice. That's what I always say. There's no justice because those are procedural things that are going to stop the actual justice, right? Because if you don't even know the law to be able to interpret the law and to be able to advocate for yourself, or know when you can speak or know when you can't speak, or know when your rights are being violated, right? How can we even get to the heart of the issue? How can we decide the issue? You can't even hear me. I can't even actually tell my story.
Wow, that is definitely a whole lot more deeper than what Hollywood makes it look like.
Definitely. It's so funny because Law and Order is one of my favorite shows, right? And I've been watching it since I was a kid, and I always tell people it's nothing like Law and Order. It's nothing like Law and Order, because people are like, you know how they always walk in and they're like, and I have this evidence and nobody's seen it. No, everybody's seen the evidence before. You can't just come busting out all this evidence. It's like, we've gone through discovery. We've got the evidence. You know that it's coming.
Right.
It's very rare that you don't know exactly what somebody's going to testify, but nobody just pulls out the glove and is like, we didn't know this glove existed. Absolutely not. Right. So it's funny. Hollywood is fun sometimes, but
yes,
not very realistic.
One of the things I noticed with the courtroom that was very different than Hollywood, I was an expert witness. And so my experience of even walking into the courthouse, I was so happy that I didn't wear like these huge heels that I was considering wearing. Yeah. I said, okay, I'm gonna wear these little heels and then carry some flats, because I mean, at least I've been across, been down DC area before to see the courthouse, and never actually been in there. Yeah. But I figured it was a walk from the metro stop, because I'm not driving. I'm not driving downtown. Sorry. No parking issues for me. So, but I was happy I was prepared for that. And then I walk into there and I noticed, I see, pencil skirts, sure. I see skirts, but I don't see 6-inch heel stilettos.
No.
That was the misconception of Hollywood for me with women in the courthouse.
Yes.
I was like, man, these women knew what they were doing. They got these thick heels on.
Yes.
They low, and they're not very tall. No. And I'm just like, that makes perfect sense. But you still get the click clack.
You get the click clack. I like it. I like my little business pencil skirts. I love it, and I like cute in coordination with my pearl earrings. Yes. But definitely not. It's not one of those like Legally Blonde situations where you're like coming in with your stick. No, nobody's really wearing. They're like, listen, we're here to get down to business. I'm going to be here all day. Yep. Sit down, stay a while, because we're all going to be here a while.
That's exactly what the attitude was in that room. That demeanor was exactly like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, me on the other hand, I didn't want to be anything privy to the case, so I just was in there, and then I came out.
You're like, I'm out of here. I
don't even know who the people's name was. I was like, don't tell me nothing about the case. I don't want to know nothing.
So tell you what I'm an expert on this. Doesn't matter who the people are.
That's it. So definitely it was an interesting experience. And from that perspective, just really seeing how Hollywood kind of just spews things up. Yes. I mean, one of the things also captured my attention about Hollywood too, about those heels, is how they actually recorded Jurassic Park, one of the last ones. The main character, I don't know her name, the lady's running through, the jungle with heels on, when really, if you look behind the scenes in those recordings, she actually has on flats.
Listen,
in some of those things.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's like she was recording all day in the jungle for real. No,
exactly. I tell you, that's how they do us. So even when it comes to the gun community, they want to show a certain light. Like, women have to have these pink and purple and blue guns, and we only carry these small little dainty things.
Yeah, no.
And so that's one of the reasons why I do this, to show the different stereotypes, break them down. Yes. And another thing you did today, you shot with nails.
I love me some nails, especially in the summer. So it's so funny. I just got these pink nails, and the lady that did my nails was like, oh, because I'm usually like keep them real nude and stuff. But during the summer, I like to get a little bit of extra color, a little pop. It makes me happy.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. I definitely love the bright pink and the orange and the yellows, all the neon colors.
Yes, for the summer, you guys.
Yes. So that is definitely one of the stereotypes that, we get a lot. And there has been, even I've had students to tell me that an instructor told them to cut their nails. And I was like, so you did?
You're right. Like, wait a minute.
Right.
Hold on.
Now, what I will say, starting off shooting with nails, I did have my trigger finger low. Okay. I would always have my trigger finger low, and the rest of them would be long,
however you want them.
But I learned to understand that there is a certain limit to the length that's going to make it easier for me.
I would imagine,
yes. So definitely having a medium length, maybe a little bit longer than medium for some. But yeah, that has helped.
Yes.
But basically, ultimately, the thing is it can be done.
It can be.
It can be done.
Yes.
And especially for those ladies who are used to having long nails.
Long nails, yeah.
Yeah, I think the difference is for those who maybe get their nails done for a certain activity.
Occasion, yeah.
Yeah, they're maybe not so comfortable with it.
That's true. I think that's almost anything. Like if you're getting these long nails, not normal, it's not your regular, then you're going to probably have a little bit of difficulty doing a lot of things, including probably shooting, right? But if you're an expert with your nails and everything, then you'll be fine.
Yep, yeah. You figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to load you up a little bit of these 40 caliber. So that one you have shot before. So if you can go ahead and pick that one up, and just make sure you get your grip good. You can do your dry fire. See how that one feel in your hand. You can go ahead and close the slide and do your dry fire. So find that spot where this hand is actually touching the gun. There we go. That's where you're going to have the most control. If both hands aren't on that handle, you're not going to have as much control there. Really good. All right, so now we can load it up. We got 2 rounds. Just want you to feel a little comfortable first. This is a higher caliber than the last one, but it shouldn't be much different as far as the force. So this one might be a little bit harder. So just remember, push here, and then bring it to you and just pull it back. Keep your hand away from this area here.
I always have the hardest time doing that.
Turn your body a little bit this way, like turn your back this way. That way. There you go.
No, I don't know why.
No problem. Let me help you with that.
Please.
So let me show you. So ideally, you know, having your hand in that web area there is extremely important, right? Then you're going to put your palm here and your fingers right here. Leave that gap on purpose.
Okay.
And the gap is so that way you don't nick your hand right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you push here, you're squeezing right there in that spot. And you're going to bring it into this area, like your working space. Okay. So that's why I'm saying that you may have to angle yourself to turn this way so that the muzzle is still pointed down in a safe direction. But you are also being able to grip it good. Okay. So let's try that. There you go. You got it. All right. It doesn't have to stay open. Okay. Just enough for you to look at it and make sure it's empty.
Yeah.
So I also came across on your social media platform that you are a CEO.
I am.
Can you please tell me about that experience? How did this organization come to be?
Okay, so standards planners, right? Okay, so I am really into just empowering women to be better, empowering myself to be better, empowering my sisters to be better, because my sisters empower me to be better, right? Like, I feel like it's collaboration over competition, right? You lift me one day, I lift you another, and we are all growing, right?
Yes.
And so after I got out of law school, I became really interested in financial literacy. And I just really became interested in building my life, right? Building my life and being financially stable, right? And I thought it was very important. And growing up where I grew up and people around me, I just noticed that there was like always financial issues, right? And I'm like, this just can't be, you know what I mean? There's just like, doesn't matter. It didn't matter their education level. It didn't matter what. It's like everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, well, what is going on, right? And I started listening to just different types of ebooks, reading different books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Millionaire Next Door, listening to Susie. And so I just kind of, Susie Orman, and I just kind of started thinking like, okay, all these people have done it, right? Like, what is it going to take to put myself in a good financial situation, right? So I started trying to learn the tricks of the trade, and I really am into like planners. Like I started organizing. I organized everything in a planner, like figuring out like I wanted to monitor my finances like I monitored my life, right? Because monitoring my life and organizing everything has always gotten me to every goal that I've wanted to achieve, right? Like if I fail once, I just organize, do it again, right? Because if I felt like if I stayed organized and had goals, I was going to achieve them. So why would my finances be any different, right? So I put them in this planner and I created a financial planner for myself was like a yearly financial planner for myself. And it's literally was like completely the leverage that I needed to just like get my finances in order. I managed everything. Like I had challenges for myself on a monthly basis for savings, investing, like understanding where my finances were, right? And where I wanted to be. And it really helped me like tremendously, right? Like I put myself in a good situation. And so somebody asked me about it one time. Like I actually had it printed out, shared it with somebody, and she was like, this is amazing. Like why don't you sell it? And I'm like, let me just do this for myself. Right. I was like, okay, let me do it. And so I basically realized that a lot of women face the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Women in all aspects of life. I think that oftentimes women aren't taught to manage money. Right. And I had heard this saying one time, like, if you teach a woman how money really works, she'll change the world. Right. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like that was just so true. And so I developed the planner, started selling it, and started doing like just encouraging financial literacy among women around my peers. And I had a budget brunch where I had speakers come in and just give different nuggets, because it's like it's a marathon. It's not a race. Like, you know, some days we'll save, some days you won't. You'll feel like you can't save. Some days you'll feel like something will come up and it's an emergency, right? And then you should have an emergency fund and just little things like that put you in a better place. And so that's where it came from. And then I started using that platform that I had in pageantry. Okay. Right. So I competed for Miss Full Figured Plus DMV. And so I had a platform, and it was exchanging generational curses for generational wealth. Oh. And it was just, so I pretty much just focused my entire platform around my business and around encouraging women to become financial literate and basically control their finances. Nice. Great. Okay. Yeah, this one feels the most comfortable. That's good. Let's see if it's... So get that thumb out the way there. There we go. You got it. I don't know. I always want to... Nope. What happened? I don't know. So the first thing we do is just drop our magazine, and then you want to check to make sure that there's nothing in there. Now what happened? The only thing that happened is when you push this in here, you didn't rack it back. Oh, okay, I was like, what happened? So go ahead and let's try. Yep, let's go ahead and yeah, there we go. Pull back and let go. There you go. So now this one in the chamber. I don't know. Thank God this is not a combat situation. Right. That's why we're preparing for those things. You know what? We're preparing for those things. Yeah. Get that control over that gun. Don't let it control you. Push out all the way with those arms and lean forward. Good job. Finger off the trigger. Firearm down. So you can see that one has a little bit more force. Yeah. That one feels less forceful than the blue. Yeah. And it's amazing, right? Whoa. It's amazing though, because this is a higher caliber, but it definitely has a little bit more force because it is, well, the small one has a little bit more force because it has a shorter barrel. Okay. So, I was like, why though? Okay, so this is because it has a shorter barrel. Yep. It has more force. Okay. And that's exactly what the difference is. But, you know, to each gun, you know, its own. It's going to be a little different. Nice. Nice. I find that women have a little unique situation with finances if they've been in a relationship, if they've been married and now they're getting a divorce. And so have you encountered some women in those boats where they're like really trying to get their finances together after a bad split up or divorce? Yes. And so that's like actually one of my very first clients that was like the situation is like all of her finances and everything had been handled like by her husband. And I was like, you know, of course she's feeling distraught because it's like, okay, I'm getting a divorce, right? Yeah, you're going to go into court, you're going to battle for money, but you still have to learn how to depending on how much money you get, navigate, get a job, figure out what you're going to do with your money, own your own it's a whole new situation, right?
Yes.
And if you've never had to do that, right, and you're feeling like, okay, number one, I've never had to do this, number two, this may not be enough money, how do I manage this, right? And that's the story for so many women, right?
Yes.
And especially like, I think our generation, that's always, sometimes I feel like our generation almost tries to go the complete opposite. And we're like, oh my God, I don't need a man. I need to be independent. I need to do this, because we watched other women and we're like, oh my God, he left her for the secretary or whatever. Yes. She don't have nothing. We waiting to exhale.
Right.
We don't want the waiting to exhale moment, right? And so it's like, but I think it's something empowering. And I always tell people, whether you're married, you're single, you should be able to understand your finances from A to Z. Always, you know what I mean? So that's never a factor. And especially, it always helps. Your partner, whether you're married or not, should want that, because you'll be their helpmate, right? You'll be their helpmate. Like, and understand finances. I can help you. If you're the head of household, wonderful. But I should understand as well, because if I'm not understanding these finances and how things are navigated in our household, how can I be your helpmate? How can I help you? Right?
That's
and
true.
So I think it's very important for women too, because often women are mothers, right? They're out of the work longer than men generally for maternity leave. When kids get sick, it's generally the mothers that are staying home and taking time off, right? And that affects finances. Of course, in our community, there's a lot of single, like the United States, right? There's a lot of single parents, right? And oftentimes those are mothers, right? Yes. And so I think navigating finances for women is very unique. Yes. It's very unique, right? And then, not to mention, right, women generally don't make the same amount of money that men make, right?
So go figure.
Right, go figure, right? So we're generally at a financial disadvantage. So we need to know how to manage our money, right?
Yeah. I did a little bit of diving into that thought, that point that women generally do make less money than men. And one of the things that came to my attention was the fact that it's not necessarily just a sexist situation. It's not necessarily that. It could have started off that way, but it's more so the fact that, just like you said, that a woman is the one that's going to stay home with maternity leave, stay home with the kids. What that means is she doesn't work up that corporate ladder like that man was able to continue working through that transition point of their life of inviting a new little being into their lives. And so they get to make more money because they get to stay into the working field longer. Definitely. And so in most cases, a lot of cases, that's typically the situation.
It's definitely the situation. Like, I'll speak in like the legal career. If you see a lot of women, there comes that time where, you get out of law school, you're trying to make partner, right? And then there comes that time where you want to be married, you want to have children, and it's like your career, that you're putting your career on the back burner, right? And it's like that in many careers, right? But that's why I always say, that's why I think the finances are very important, right? Because you need to understand that, you know what I mean? Like, if you're hitting the ground running and you know that your career trajectory is going to be different, how you invest your money should be different, right? Yes. So that you know that, right? How you prepare for your kids' college should be different, right? These things should be different, right? Because your trajectory is going to be different, right? You're not going, if my child is homesick, I'm not going to be burning the wee hours of the night. Like, I'm just not. As a woman, we're built different. That's just the reality, right? And so, yeah, it's not only just because we're women, but it's that, the people look at it different, right? And now, I mean, it's understandable. I won't say it is understandable. You expect that there's more compassion, but it's understandable because, right, like if somebody has a butt in chair, you're going to give that person more acknowledgement than somebody that doesn't, right?
That's facts.
And so, and it's like, yes, the woman may not be there because she's home taking care of the kid, right? That's true. But this man that's sitting butt in chair, he's going to get the acknowledgement because he has butt in chair. Now, do we really as women want it to be like, well, I don't want him to get acknowledgement because he has butt in chair because I'm at home taking care of the kid.
Right, no.
We need to
don't want that either.
We don't want that either.
Yeah, we want the person with the experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So what we need to do is put ourselves in financial positions where it doesn't matter, right? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be button chair 80 hours a week. That's not what I need. Like, right. It's just not what I need. You know what I mean? I need to create passive income, right? Yes. That's what I need to create passive income. I need to plan for my retirement early. I need to plan for that maternity leave, right? I need to plan to have sick hours, right? That's just what I need to plan for, because these are the things that I want in life, and it's different than what this man might want in life. Right?
Position there. All right, so go ahead and check to make sure you have no ammunition.
Okay, going to do that. There's nothing in there. It's empty. Okay. Now it's not empty.
You got it. Right. And we're just going to keep shooting. Nice and controlled, fast pace.
I couldn't see that one.
You did it though.
Oh, I see. I doubled the top again. It's at the top.
Yes, it went to the top. So we just got to control that flip. But we'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there. Just got to control that flip.
One in the ear.
Yep. And that's true. Even with retirement, I feel lots of people don't plan for that in their earlier years because they think, oh, I have time.
Yes.
And so I know you probably run into that a whole lot. Do you have any quick tips to help people with that?
Yes. So my number one tip, everybody, is if you work at for an employer that offers you 401k and matching, especially matching, put money in your 401k. Put money in your 401k, put money in your 401k. Number one, it reduces the amount of tax you're going to have to pay because they take the money out before they assess the tax. And then also, if your employer has matching, that's free money. So if you put in 3% and your employer gives you 3%, that's an additional 3% that your employer is giving you, tax-free money on top of your pay. And it's growing for retirement. You're going to need it. And a lot of times people will say, oh, I'm not going to retire for 20, 25 years, 30 years. Yeah, that's great and everything. But there's great features of say some people purchasing your first house. This is America. To purchase your first house, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be borrowing money. You're going to be borrowing money from a bank. Why not have a fat 401k where you can borrow from yourself?
Oh, wow.
Right?
That makes sense.
You can borrow from yourself, right? Yes. And maybe for your down payment.
That's
because true. You're not going to borrow from the bank for that down payment. Right. So you might as well borrow from your 401k, right? If you need to. So that's my tip. That is a financial tip that I would say.
That's a really good one. Definitely. So when it comes to the whole money management thing, I'm pretty sure that plays hand in hand with whatever else you have going on as far as traveling.
Yes.
So when you are first, let me just say this. The name of the organization, Fat Girls Travel Too.
Yes.
It really struck me because I was raised in an environment that the word fat was just such a negative thought process. Yes. Okay. I mean, I have women that I grew up with now to today. You cannot say anything about a woman being big or fat. To them, it is the worst thing and it's demeaning.
Yes.
And so I was like, look at them. They are literally taking this in power. I mean, I have always been on the smaller side and my mom has always been on the smaller side, and she has always instilled in me to love everybody. Nobody is different when it comes to just loving everybody. And everybody is made differently on purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a cousin that, she lost some pounds on purpose. And when she did, the whole family was looking like, oh no, you might want to put some of that weight back on,
baby.
Yes. Everybody's not meant to be a certain size. So I love the fact of diversity, and just that word alone, it's empowering the way that it's being used in that organization. Yes. So I mean, really, how did that come about?
So I have a business partner. Her name is Ashley. And so Fat Girls Travel Too was the name that she coined, right? And I absolutely loved it. So when we partnered on this, like you said, people will be like, oh my God, fat is such a negative thing. And I'm like, I'm fat. That's fine. You know what I mean? I'm fat. I'm fine. I look good.
Yes.
I look good. Okay. Yes. That's just how it is. So to me, it's just an empowering thing, right? It's we encourage fat women, plus size women, full figured women to just travel the world unapologetically, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm disadvantaged because I'm fat. I don't feel like I'm disabled because I'm fat. I just feel like that's just a part of who I am. It's not a negative part of who I am. It's a part of who I am. And I enjoy life. I enjoy life. I enjoy myself. I love my body. I love who I am. And that's just that.
And everything about you definitely shows that.
Thank
I
you.
love the encouragement and the inspiration that you carry with you all day, every day,
Love it.
and just being in your skin. I mean, there's people who are extremely skinny. There's people who are on the heavier side. That it doesn't matter what you look like. People are going to find different things that they don't like about themselves.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean it stops you from doing anything. You just keep going. You find a way to look at that mirror and you say, I love me.
I love me, right?
Regardless of what I look like to others, I love me. This is the way I was born. This is how I'm made, you know? So, and I've always thought that was really empowering. And I had a good example of that. One of my aunts, oh my gosh, she's always been on the heavier side, but the way she carries herself, she dresses so well. She puts on her makeup, she does her hair, and even just when she puts a ponytail on, just how she just carries herself. She's always been comfortable in her own skin. And I don't even know if that was something that she was struggling with at a younger age, because to me, she exemplified a certain courage and a certain strength. And to me, I was like, okay, if I ever did become that size, I would be comfortable in my own skin. Because she encouraged me to know that it doesn't matter about that. Just be happy with who you are.
You have to be. I mean, I think confidence is like the sexiest thing that anybody could wear. Like, you need to be confident in who you are. And I always tell people that, like, you know, in college and everything, I'm like, listen, sis. Listen, sis. I was like, listen, I think my confidence is attractive, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I mean, my face card is never going to decline because this, you guys. But it's just the confidence. You know, I think confidence is very important. And I think, you know, everybody has different things that's appealing and what they like, right? Some people, you know, some people have a preference to be skinny. Some people have a preference for big, right? Some people have a preference for short. Some people have a preference for tall. Some people have a preference for big boobs. Some people have a preference for little boobs. It's just everybody has a different preference. It's subjective, right? So why should you be down on yourself because you're not somebody else's preference? Right? Like, that doesn't it doesn't make sense, because when you're one person's preference, you're not another person's preference, right? So
go figure,
right? So you load it just the same then.
Yep, you load it just the same. Oh, there's one exception. One exception. This is how you actually rock it back. So much easier.
I love this already.
Yes.
It seems so easy.
It is. It's so much more easier to rack it back. So that's the difference with that. So picking it up to check to make sure you have no ammunition, you're just going to pull this back and take a look. And then when you load it, just pull this back and let it go.
That makes probably like so much easier.
Yes.
This is just, where did I see it there. Okay.
Yep. Good. And so now you're ready to roll. Wow. You got 5 rounds. Turn it around. There you go.
I saw the bullet going. Okay. Last one?
Yep, all out.
So it's like, what are you really gonna do? You got to be happy with yourself.
I always thought about that. You know, no shame to anyone who's doing any surgery to help themselves look the way that they want to look. But let's think about this for a second. I will have to just stop for a second to think about this. What if you're going through all this work to have this certain thought process or look, and then you find Mr. or Mrs. Right, and then they don't have that preference in the body shape? You went through all this work
and you didn't even need it. Right. So it's like, that's one of those things. Like, I always think, I hope that if people are doing it, you have to be doing it for yourself, right? You know what I mean? Like, anything, like I always tell people, anything you want to do, if you're doing it for you and you like it, like if you want to run because you want to lose weight, do that. If you want to get some extra thighs because you want to be thick, do that. But do it for you, not because that's what's in style, not because that's what's trending right now. Because, you know, first of all, in the 1990s, it was like, let's be a size 1. Now everybody wants a booty. You know what I mean? Everybody wants this, everybody wants that. So the styles and the trends are going to change. So you need to determine what makes you happy. Because if you're going to be living your life based on what's trending, that's just too much of a roller coaster.
It's really a roller coaster. You're taking your body through the works.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, like you said, do it for you.
Yes, for you. Yes.
So I did come across some pictures, and this one was really interesting to me because I was like, looks like you have so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I love fashion. And so that's one of the things and I love dancing. Looks like you were ready for a parade, ready. Tell me what's going on with this picture.
So I went to Barbados for crop over. So I'm Panamanian, right? And so if you guys know anything about like the islands and the Caribbeans, almost every country in the Caribbean has like carnival, right? And so when you do carnival, they dress up, right? You play mass. And so there, I went to Barbados, which was the time of my life. Oh my gosh. I am so shout out to Barbados. Shout out to all my Bajans. Listen, I went to crop over, and there was the day I was playing mass. It was just an amazing time. Yes, I had a great time.
That is really good. Yes. Definitely looked like a memory for you. You just lit up just now.
And I'm telling you, I think back to the memories and the band that I played mass with and the people I met. Like, I met people in Barbados that I still communicate with to this day.
Nice.
They're just like,
and I don't know what mass is. Tell me what that is.
So like mass is like when you dress up in like, you know, the costumes, the feathers, the things like that, and then you do the carnival, like you do the actual parade that day.
Nice.
They call that playing mass.
I would love that. I mean, honestly, I'm just like kind of a little bit subconscious though, because I'm like, that's a lot of body parts out, but
sis,
I don't know.
I got a lot more body than you. I got a lot more body than you, sis. Listen, you have to. I always tell people, you try it once in your lifetime. If you have it in mind now in the U.S. because of course so much immigration, they have carnival in a lot of U.S. cities. So they have it in New York, they have it in Miami, they have it in L.A. So like if you want a local experience, then go there. But I recommend go to the Caribbean, go to Trini. Oh my God, Trini. Carnival is amazing. Barbados amazing. Jamaica, St. Lucia. Pick a country and just do it.
Okay. The only one that I think I can resonate with is Rio, only because of the movie.
Do it.
Yes. So I definitely will have to do that.
Yes.
So, but thinking about fashion though, you also performed in Philly Fashion Week.
I did.
So one of the outfits I really loved, it was a printed dress. I can't remember what the print was, but I know it was a green dress and it had pockets. I was in love. I was like, yes, honey. Yes. I love dresses with pockets.
Yeah, I love dresses with pockets. Oh, I know. Okay. So that was from Massive Collection. Yes. I like Massive. I walked for Massive in Philly and in New York Fashion Week.
Okay.
And so this pretty much me walking in fashion shows and doing fashion has come out of the pageant, right? So I did the pageant and then I met some amazing people and just made some connections that I've continued. And so that dress with pockets for Philly Fashion Week, I walked. There's actually a plus size segment of Philly Fashion Week called Loving My Curves. And it's ran by my sorority sister, Dr. Marquita. Shout out to Dr. Marquita. And so she does Loving My Curves. And so I got the opportunity to walk in Loving My Curves for a Massive Collection. And I walked with that the green dress that you saw where I had the pockets. It was an amazing
The pink one was beautiful too.
Yeah, I loved
everything. Everything was dope.
I just loved it.
Yeah, everything was dope.
I enjoy it. I just really enjoy myself. You see me when I'm doing the modeling, I'm all smiles. I know people, usually you see the models on the runway, they're all serious. I'm like, I have to get it together. You can tell I have to get it together, you guys. You just tell I'm having too much fun, but I'm enjoying it.
Fashion is exciting. It's very expressive. I love like the concepts of things and how the fashion will connect with different themes and ideas. And so I mean, just even what it was named was inspiring.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
So.
telling, and especially I really like for women in the plus size community, right? Oftentimes, like, I mean, for the longest time, and still it's now, it's better, but not where we want to be. It's difficult to find clothes that you can express yourself in how you want to and be fashionable in all sizes.
So
right?
do you have a particular, like, shout out to this company, this
Oh
designer? Do
my
you have
God.
specific
I
places
have,
that you like to go?
let me tell you. So I have quite a few now. That's why I said it's gotten a lot better. Um, for like actually upcoming, there's like this District of Curves, and it's a fashion show here in DC, right? And it's centered all around plus size clothing. And so I have really enjoyed, because now I've been finding a lot more brands like City Chic. For Fat Girls Travel 2, we have a connection with Swimsuit for All, and they cover swimsuits in all sizes, right? So a lot of times when the girls come on trips with us, we gift them through our sponsorship swimsuits.
Oh, nice.
Right?
And they cute.
Cute.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We went to Cuba, and I had this pink swimsuit that I was just in love with, and it had a cage on the side.
Oh.
And so it's like, I like it because I think it empowers other women. I like get a rush where I see other girls come on the trip and they're like, oh my God, this is the first time I've worn a two-piece ever in life. And I'm like, well, sis, wear one every day. Right. And they're like, oh my God, you're so inspiring because you got your cage. And I'm like, yes, because why not? Like, why not? I feel like, I mean, I can't hide. I'm not gonna. There's no hiding it. Like, you're gonna see it. So what am I hiding? Like, that's
facts,
right? So,
that's facts.
yeah.
I mean, I hear you. I mean, I think one of the things that happens is with in the U.S. there's this whole stigma about covering up, and a certain woman dresses like this, and a certain other woman dresses like that. But have you experienced that going overseas to different places? Is it different as far as the thought process with that, or the people you come across?
I think it's interesting because different places that you go, of course, have different cultural understandings, right? Like when I went to Dubai, and I actually went to Geneva. I studied in Geneva, Switzerland, at the UN. And it was like Indigenous People Conference, right? So you have people from different places and wearing different things. So yes, I think it depends on the culture. But I also feel like fashion is empowering, right? And so I don't feel like if I'm wearing a two-piece swimsuit, I'm any less of a woman, because the next day you can catch me in the boardroom and I'm going to have on my suit, right? And I feel like I can be multifaceted, right? You may see me on the runway and this may be a mesh bodysuit, and the next day it's not, right? Like, I define me, right? Like, I define me. And so I think that's very important. And I think you choose to be who you want to be and the woman you want to be and dress how you want to dress. But I don't think that should be dictated by the size of the clothes that are available in the rack or by somebody else's opinion. It should be defined by you, right? And so,
and like you said, the confidence goes along with it too. You're dressed in confidence every day when you walk out the house. You have to be. That's what sells whatever look you have for fashion purposes.
I'm telling you. Yes.
So what's next on the menu, I would say, for you, or the schedule for you?
Oh my gosh, what's next on the schedule for me? I have a lot coming up. I have a lot coming up. I will, like I said, I'm going to be at the District of Curves fashion show at the end of July. I will be going to Fat Girls Travel 2. We're going to Morocco. So we have a trip to Morocco planned, and that's super exciting. So there's a lot. It's a lot on the schedule. But it's all exciting things.
Okay. Well, definitely, it sounds great. So if one of the viewers wanted to get in contact with you with either one of the organizations that you do, how would they do that?
So for Fat Girls Travel 2, you can get online. We have a website, www.fatgirlstravel2.com. Also, of course, IG. Standards has an email, has a website as well, www.standardsplanner.com. I always encourage people to find me on Instagram. Of course, social media is just global right now. So I'm on social media, and it's at Fat Pretty and budget traveling. And it's fat FAT. People sometimes be like, oh, we got to put PHT. No, put that FAT, and that's how you will find me. So fat, pretty, and budget traveling on IG.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you. So that sums up for this segment. We're going to go on to the next part.
Okay.
A little bit of fun.
Yes.
All right. So now we're going to do our shoot or segment.
Okay.
So with this game here, I'm going to ask you questions, and it's up to you if you're going to just shoot the answer or you're just going to plead the fifth and okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, all right. So first question is, on your travels, have there ever been a time that a woman in a group ruined the entire trip for you?
Never.
That's great.
So never. You know, Fat Girls Travel too, especially. We thank God because we have been blessed that like the groups of women, they almost become like friends. They literally, most of the time, they don't know each other. They come on these trips. I mean, they literally sometimes are paired with roommates, and they end up going on trips together later. They come back on our trips. So thankfully, no, we've never had anybody ruin a trip, and I do not want that to happen. It's like actually the opposite. Like the women I went to Cuba with, I've gone back to Curacao with them. We've gone to Aruba together. Outside of Fat Girls Travel too. So no, and also I'm really like, you see my personality. I'm very like. So most of the time, I think it's very hard to just ruin my day.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. All right. So question number 2. Let's talk about your love life for a split second. Okay. So I found these pictures online. Okay. And it just seems like, you love animals. Okay. And this one with you're kissing the dolphin is just so cute. And so I was just wondering, is there a special someone that you're smooching these days or have smooched that you just felt like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be smooching that one?
The person that I'm smooching, I am happily smooching them. So there is nobody that I don't want to smooch. That's a half shoot and a half shh.
Okay. All right. So we got 1 foot in, 1 foot out as far as that answer. Okay. All right. All right. So question number 3. During your pageantry, has there ever been any heated moments with any of the contestants?
Oh my gosh. So I've done one pageant, and the pageant that I did, I won the DMV, and then I went on to compete for the national title, and I won the national title.
Nice.
So that was just a great experience. I think it's like what is it called? Newcomer's luck or something, right? So I had a great time doing that. Yes, but I love women, and I like to inspire women, and I like to be with women. But sometimes women are catty.
Yeah.
Sometimes women are catty and very competitive. And I think my personality is either a love or hate me personality. And so I think women that are confident or women that love women are attracted to me, right? And women that are not, like some women that are just maybe not happy in their space,
right?
My personality irks them because they're just like, why is she happy? Why is this? Like, it's like, I'm like, I just am. So yes, I had a girl that I competed against, and yeah, she just said really nasty things. Like, she was just like, she's just average. She's no competition. She's just, I don't like her. She's not my cup of tea.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't have to be your cup of tea.
Right.
That's fine. But if I'm not your cup of tea, just don't speak on me. I'm not speaking on you.
Right.
But I mean, long story short, I wasn't her cup of tea, but I was the judge's cup of tea.
Facts. All right. So question number 4. Has there ever been a person you advised in the finance business that they just didn't listen and you knew that they just needed to listen to you?
Oh my gosh. So sadly, this happens more often than not.
Really?
I'm serious. Like, first of all, I always tell people, like, don't pay for my services. Like, if you don't really, like, I don't want to waste your money. Like, my goal is not to waste your money, right? So why pay for my services if you really are not going to do what's necessary or be disciplined? And I honestly think it's just a lack of discipline, and which, most people struggle with. Like, we all struggle with discipline in some aspects of our life, right? I don't think anybody's like, maybe some people, there are probably some very successful people that don't struggle with discipline, and that's probably why they're very successful, but everybody probably has a hard time with discipline in some aspects of their life. But I think that's what the bottom line is. You know what I mean? It's like, if you know that your finances are not in order, I've been there. Everybody has been there. And I don't think most people that I'm around are just not born into millions, right? So it's like, you don't need to buy your 10th dress, sis. It's not like we can reuse the same dress. Like, I'm going to wear this stuff that I have on today. If you see me post it on Instagram in a couple months, it's fine. It's fine. So I'm like, I see sometimes and I'm like, how many outfits you should save a little bit of that money. Now, I like to be fashionable with everybody, but we need to also save and put ourselves in a good position, right? So yes, a lot of times, I won't say all the time, but a lot of times I'll see women and it's like, okay, I really need to get my finances in order. I do. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get started. And then they're like, oh, but I have to. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have to do that.
Wants versus needs.
Yeah, you just want to do that. And you probably shouldn't do that. It's like, it's a lot of things that I've been just seeing coming up, like this Afterpay, this Klarna, and it's like, okay, I get it. Like, I understand, like, extending your cash flow, right? Like, it's not maybe you're Klarnaing something that costs $300, not because you don't have $300, but because you're like, oh, I want to pay $100 a month. Okay, that's fine, right? Yeah. And then like, okay, I've allocated for this, I'm going to pay for this. But it's like, if you're Klarnaing something that you don't have the $100 to pay for, and you already exhausted your budget, and you know that you don't have any money monthly, like, don't put anything on Klarna because you don't have the money to pay the Klarna.
So, and it better be something you need.
And not like, oh, I need a new dress, so I'm going to put on Klarna. No, you don't. That's not something you put on Klarna. Like, that doesn't make sense if you don't have the money, right? So I think we're in a very consumers type of spirit. Yeah.
So my final question for you is, literally, when you're dealing with immigration cases, has there been a case where you're just like, okay, that decision was just not fair, just not right?
Oh my God. So one of my very first cases when I came out here, so this client and their family is like my friends for life, honestly. And yes, so it was a family of a son, a daughter, a husband, and a wife. Okay. The wife was persecuted by somebody in her country, right? And the person started to persecute her, and then they started to persecute her whole family, meaning her husband and her kids. So they all fled to the United States, okay? The mom fled with the son, and the dad fled with the daughter. All arrived here, ended up back together here. And so I went to court, spent so much time on this case, and the judge granted asylum for the two kids and the dad, not the mom.
Wow.
And I was just like devastated. I was devastated. And the crazy part is I had a feeling that was going to happen based on the law. The law that existed, I had a feeling that would happen. Like, the family had a case based on something called like membership in a family PSG, a particular social group. So they were protected because they were the family of the mother, right?
Wow.
But the mother didn't have a grounds of protection. So they were granted asylum and she was denied.
Wow.
But I appealed it to the Appeal Board of Immigration. And literally, they remanded it for redecision, right? I appealed it, and they remanded it for redecision in light of a change of law that came out while the decision was pending on appeal.
Wow.
So it's like, I knew that case was being heard at a higher court. And so my goal was to appeal it in hopes that there would be some kind of difference. And there was. And so my appeal was granted, it was remanded, and then about a year later, we won her case. But it was very heart-wrenching because I was worried that, she was going to be deported. And you think about it, like, to pay for an immigration case, right, a private pay, and then you have to pay a lawyer for an appeal. Like, just think about, what if the family cannot afford that?
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot to digress. And I can only understand how you felt, like being the person trying to help them win this case, and then it was like you were like, oh no. I'm
like, oh no, we have to. I mean,
yes.
And you're looking at the kids, and they're like, what do you mean only my dad can stay and my mom has to go? Like, how? Like, how?
Right.
Yeah, like, what? And they're kids; they can understand. They're just yeah. So
wow.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
For making it through all of this that I put you through today.
No, it's a pleasure. Such a pleasure. I love it.
You are so awesome, and you have been awesome today.
Thank you.
So definitely should be proud of what you did on the range today.
Yes.
You definitely did an awesome job with that, especially with that roni. Oh my gosh.
Macaroni. I'm getting me one of those. That macaroni. I was like, oh, this is nice. I like it.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of those things that makes it a little bit easier to shoot, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes,
a lot of fun.
Definitely.
All right, so that concludes our segment for today.
Bye.
Think about these guns. I mean, you can say that they're small all you want to. They be small but mighty. Right.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected for more great content. Also, be sure to check out programs like Women on Target from NRA. They are definitely worth your time. This class was specially designed for women and taught by women. If you're interested in being a guest, click the link below and fill out our inquiry form. If you'd like to be a sponsor for the channel, reach out to us at shootthesh@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep aiming high and don't be afraid to shoot the sh.